I don't know.
It's like every 3 or 4 weeks you get on this.
With the song.
I hate this song.
It's
It's sort of a cycle that comes around with you. That every 3 to 4 weeks you get to this, and you're just like, this song has got to go.
Because
we cannot have that.
Because when the show first started, I was very against it, and then every day I used to complain about it. As I'm sure our regular viewers, hopefully not. Hopefully we have regular viewers.
Of course. Oh, I'm sure there's thousands.
And then for some reason I kind of said, okay, well I can get used to it, And then I was just happened to be in the studio, and Director Bradley was sort of like doing a run through of the front of the show, and I was just over in the newsroom and heard it, and I was like, we got to get a new song. So maybe you all can let us know, your opinion of if you think it's annoying or if it's appropriate for. It just doesn't seem like two guys here. It just seems odd.
To me, it's very podcast. And to me, this is what this show feels like.
So you like it?
No, those are not the words coming out of my mouth.
Okay. So I was reading too much into it. Okay.
I just think you went into this track about two guys sitting here and thing, and I was just like, I'm not going that route.
Okay.
In the fact that I just the vibe to me is a podcast sound. It kind of does that. I didn't say necessarily it's the podcast music that I would pick.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd love to hear some other nominations.
Maybe we have some other. Our promotions department, Craig, Craig.
He's the department.
Yeah, he did tell me that they have other options.
Yeah.
He says, because he was a little bit like, he wasn't perturbed. He was like, hey, come down and pick another one. If you want to pick another one, come on down. And I'm like, okay. And then I just never did.
Yep.
Because I wanted to include everybody in it. Like
sometimes the chief just has to chief.
I don't know.
Okay.
That means, look, what kind of taste do I have? Seriously. So, all right. Well, hey, everybody. Enough of that. I can't believe how cold out it is still. It's gotten colder.
Yep.
Since this morning.
I was looking at the wardrobe this morning and was like, I want to wear a sweater on the air. I rarely, I ever do that. And I looked everything over and everything, and I was like, I don't have the pieces to put together.
Oh, yeah.
So in order to get that out of my system of wanting to wear a sweater on the air, I wore my vest.
I like it.
Just for forecasting with friends. I don't think I'll do that for the news.
It looks cozy.
This is it's a sweater weather day.
Yeah.
If not just like parka, from North Face or whatever kind of day.
Yeah, seriously.
But that wind out there is slicing. It
really is.
It is cold.
So here is a look at some of the, here's what's waiting for you outside. Here's what's waiting for me outside. I haven't been outside since I got in here this morning. It is 33. That's the Hobby Airport temperature right now. That's actually down a degree from the last hour, I think, with that howling north wind at 18 miles per hour and a 22-degree wind chill. These temperatures have not budged.
Locked in.
They have been locked in since about 6 o'clock this morning, 7 o'clock this morning. They've either stayed the same or have even dropped a little bit. 30 in the Woodlands, 30 for Tomball, 30 in Cypress, 28 Katy, 33 just barely above freezing in Houston right now. But it's not, snowing or icing or anything. It's just very, very cold and dry. The wind chill is just awful. It's been, 10 to 20 degrees, really. By the way, the Weather Service had the cold weather advisory. It was set to expire at 10. They extended it till noon, and now it goes back into effect tonight, midnight to 10 a.m. tomorrow. Wind chills expected to be about 10 to 15 in the Houston area tomorrow morning or tonight, and then as low as 5 to 10.
This is the ridiculous, right? A 5-degree wind chill for
just
southeast Texas.
Yeah, it's just so rare, right, for us to be, just this cold. Right now,
and this is not wind chill. This is actual
regular
air temperature.
This
what
is
you're looking at here,
air temperature.
And you're like, yesterday at noon, I did this map and it zoomed out even a little further where you could see Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah,
and it was one.
And
I always just think that, I don't know why, but I just find it humorous.
It's always
you're humorous when you look and it's 1. How cold is it? It's 1.
It's 1. Why don't you just round it down to 0?
It's 1.
If you want to warm up, the place to go is Miami. 80 degrees there right now. And then you travel up the East Coast, you start running into some areas that were flooded and now are getting snowed on. And central portion of the country is just all the way from the north to the south down to Texas is just getting slammed with the wind and the sweeping down the plains. This is crazy. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday about the flooding.
Right, in the snow that's dropped on it?
Yeah, so it was flooding really badly in Kentucky, and then they just had a bunch of snow on top of it.
The Fox, I don't know if she's technically a multimedia reporter or if she's part of the Fox weather game, but Olivia Calmes. Liviana, thank you, Calmes. I'm not even specifically remember exactly where she was, but I was watching her Instagram, and and now it's snow on top of it.
She's out in it. They send
she's
her in elements all the time.
Yeah.
And who's the other young lady we interviewed last week? She's on also.
Chelsea.
Yes.
Torres.
Chelsea Torres.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are out in it. The two of them. They send them to just pretty much wherever the worst weather is across the country.
Yeah.
So good for them. But so here's the forecast. Now the first number there technically is today, and actually we've dropped down to 32. So I should update that. But tonight, 20s tonight, and then probably sub-freezing again Friday, and then. I mean, a little warmer, a little more reasonable.
Yeah, the big difference, I think, is the winds finally calm tomorrow.
Yeah, because we could deal with cold. It's just it's that wind really that gets you.
And but I mean, as we've seen with the alerts from the Weather Service, the wind chill tomorrow mornings are still going to be bad in the ridiculous categories. It's in the afternoon, I think, when the winds get a little bit more tolerable, and then that Friday morning, the winds. I don't think we'll have the wind chills as cold, and so the 30 will be a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
Even though still below freezing, so that vegetation that you've had to haul into the house will still be with you on Friday morning,
hopefully,
as well. Yeah.
Gosh. All right. So there are concerns for how people are going to keep warm in all this.
Yep.
The city is planning to open warming centers tonight, and they'll have all hands on deck to get through this cold weather. Now they say the emergency center is fully staffed, and that they're ready to address the needs of the public, especially children, pets, the elderly, the homeless. The city will open 12 of its multi-service warming centers, and Metro is going to provide free rides to everyone. Mayor Whitmire says he plans to address both the physical and the mental needs of the most vulnerable people throughout the area to provide support during this cold week.
We will have caseworkers working with the health department and the mental health department to see that everyone is comfortable as possible in getting any assistance they need, certainly networking with their family members.
The mental health caseworkers will be attending the Fondy Rec Center and the Metropolitan Multi-Service Center on West Gray Street. Again, there's a total of 12 warming centers available to anybody who needs them, somewhere to keep them warm tonight until 8. Let's see, tonight at 8, until Thursday morning. You can go to our website at fox26houston.com for details to find the one near you.
All right, so everyone is urged to do their part to help protect your 4 Ps. And
4 Ps.
Remember, it's always fun to kind of remember how we line that up, but that's going to be the plants, the pets, the pipes, the people, again, in no particular order.
Right.
How you'd handle that. And so
so that's important.
Make sure that that's a part of what you're involved with in getting everybody ready for this blast.
Because that's what they always ask. It's always like, do we need to worry about the pipes?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you do.
It depends on your pipes.
Depends on your pipes. That's right.
Which ones we're talking about,
right.
for sure. But definitely something we need to think about.
So sorry about that. I messed that up.
No, it's all good. It's all great there.
Okay.
But this is a good question that we've got coming up. Is it possible to be allergic to cold weather?
I don't know.
Apparently, there's some research here that says it could be. According to some health experts in the Cleveland Clinic, they say a person can develop an allergic reaction to the cold weather, but it is rare. The condition is called cold-induced urticaria.
Yeah, it's a medical term.
You want to say that one?
Urticaria?
Yeah, I knew you'd.
Urticaria?
I knew you'd hit it better than I did.
I don't know.
It occurs when an individual is exposed to cold temperatures, causing them to break out into hives or swelling on the different parts of their body.
So it's not considered an allergy if you just hate it. You know what I mean? Which I know a lot of
people
do.
Got to be a physical reaction, right?
Yeah, I know. Okay, second day in a row visiting with our friend Rudy Koski from Austin. So not preparing properly for the big freeze can cause some big problems for your home. Rudy Koski from our Fox station in Austin got some advice on how to prepare and whether Texans over there are ready for the cold.
Expectations of an early spring are officially on hold. An Arctic blast is on the way.
February is always the worst month here in Texas.
Josh Bronstad is the HVAC manager at Abacus Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Their plumbing techs, he told me, were busy Tuesday answering last-minute winterization calls.
Everything that's coming through, I'm sending my guys out to take care of it now. That way we can prevent something.
Light rain started falling across the Austin metro area Tuesday well before temperatures fell. That's why the rink at Chaparral Ice around midday was the only thing frozen in North Austin. An icy look, which was just fine for Kiana Sanchez.
It definitely should stay there, yes.
What have you done? Are you ready?
No.
What do you have to get done?
Probably wrapping the pipes and getting the animals ready for it. We live on a farm, so we have a lot of animals to get ready.
The winter prep to-do list includes covering outside garden hose connections. It's also advised to let some water drip from your faucets before going to bed. And open up those cabinet doors under sinks to let air circulate. Do those things really work?
Yes, sir. Also properly inspecting plumbing lines in the attic, like whenever we're out there for heating inspections and stuff like that. My guys are trained to also look at plumbing issues like that also to prevent a catastrophic mess.
A mess like this. In 2021, this is what happened when a fractured frozen pipe thawed out. 4 years ago, a lot of pipes broke, flooding out apartments and homes. In Austin, repairing all that damage, in some cases, reportedly, took more than 2 years to complete. The forecast now may not be as bad, but wrapping up pipes to be on the safe side is exactly what Michael Clausen did.
I think it's going to be a quick hit, just cold, no ice, no snow. Unfortunately, I like snow.
Yard irrigation pipes and sprinkler heads, I'm told, may be protected by the ground during this weather event. Those above ground should be wrapped up. And systems should be turned off, if possible, cleared of all water. Experts tell me that includes draining the backflow preventer. It's worth noting that a lot of people bought generators after that big freeze in 2021, and those generators should be checked before turning them on. I'm Rudy Koski, Fox 7 Austin News.
He does. Rudy has the vest on, too.
Rudy's looking good in the vest. He knows where it's at.
You can pull it off very well.
Functional.
Yeah,
they work
are.
very well.
It's a good look. It's a good look.
All right, let's switch to other parts of the country because they're also still dealing with that snow, ice, bitter cold, including our nation's capital. And that's where we'll check in with Josh Rosenthal from our Fox station in D.C.
What have you thought of the winter weather so far?
It's been awful and cold.
Miserable.
It's been the worst.
And it's not over yet. No, the DMV may not be looking at a ton of snow this week, but it is expected to be cold. Very cold. With D.C. declaring a cold weather emergency due to dangerously low temperatures. Maryland issuing some warnings as well. And in Virginia, where many roads are already pre-treated, Governor Glenn Youngkin saying Tuesday extensive preparations are underway again.
And as we head into this latest snow event, I know there's a lot of people that haven't recovered from the last one.
The governor told reporters that starting with last week's ice storm, there are about 450,000 power outages across the Commonwealth. To put that in perspective, it's well over 100,000 more outages than the state dealt with in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And while officials do expect much more snow in other parts of the state in the coming days, the governor was clear. He wants people in Northern Virginia on alert as well.
We are still under a state of emergency, and I cannot be more clear. We declared this now 10 days ago, but I need everybody to understand that the state of emergency continues, and if there wasn't one that had already been declared, I would be declaring one today.
And keep in mind, it's not just snow and cold weather that everybody's been dealing with today. Pepco said they've restored power to about 23,000 customers who lost it because of wind. That started Sunday night. Guys.
You know, we couldn't tell, but I bet you Josh had a vest under that jacket.
And he didn't look cold. He looked
no,
very
he looked
comfortable.
very,
That's
very
right.
comfortable.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we've had so many advisories, new advisories, ones that people might not be familiar with, and so Ramisha Shade is going to be up next after the break to kind of explain everything for us.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on Forecasting with Friends. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Today we're going to talk about something that is pretty critical, pretty important. It's called the wind chill. You hear meteorologists talk about it a lot, that wind chill factor, how it's really going to feel to the exposed skin. So what is the wind chill and how does it impact you? Well, let's start here. When the wind is non-existent or when it's calm, normal body heat is basically contained all around you kind of equally, and you don't have to worry about it being kind of sucked out of you by the strong wind. So normal body heat when the wind is calm, you can see this guy here is nice and warm. That layer of heat generated by our bodies keeps us warm, but when you have that wind starting to pick up, that body heat escapes as the wind picks up, and that leaves you needing more layers and feeling very cold, uncomfortably cold at times. That wind pushes that layer of heat away from our bodies. So of course, when you have very cold temperatures plus very strong wind, you have some issues, and that wind chill plays a very important part in our weather because of course when we're forecasting freezing temperatures plus a lot of strong wind, that creates dangerous conditions. So you always want to be extra careful when you hear that there's going to be a really low wind chill, because that means the wind plus the cold can mean some problems for you and some dangerous conditions as you spend time outside. All right, I want to show you this chart. This is actually a wind chill chart. So at the top, we've got temperatures. You see temperatures ranging from 45 degrees below zero all the way up to 40 above zero. And then you have the wind ranging from calm up to 60 miles per hour. So let's walk over here and look at this temperature right around 25 degrees. That's already sub-freezing and super chilly. But if you have a temperature of 25 degrees plus winds around 20 miles per hour, that's going to give you a feels like temp of only 11 degrees. On top of that, you would actually have the risk of getting frostbite in about 30 minutes. So that just gives you an idea of how much worse the wind can make it when it is strong and when you already have really chilly temperatures. Even a temperature right around 40 degrees with winds right around 30 miles per hour would give you a wind chill right around 28, and also the potential for frostbite in about 30 minutes. Now let's say we're way up north in the US somewhere and we're talking about a temperature of 10 below zero. Well, when you go down here, a temperature of 10 below zero with a 20 mile per hour wind gust would make it feel like it's 35 degrees below zero outside, and that would be frostbite in only about 10 to 15 minutes. So certainly we are dealing with some very, very chilly conditions when you're talking about these types of temperatures, and of course it makes it more dangerous when you have that wind chill added. So what can you do when you're talking about the windy conditions plus the cold conditions, that body heat escaping as that wind picks up? Well, you always want to try to limit your amount of time outdoors because hypothermia, frostbite can occur in minutes. So that continues to be a very dangerous situation when you're in those conditions for a long period of time. So try not to put yourself there. Also, cover any exposed skin. If you must go outside, you need to think about the scarf, the hat, the gloves, the boots, the thick winter coat, so that you can basically protect your body from that chilly air and the combination of the wind plus the chilly air. All right, well, that wraps it up as far as wind chill is concerned, but let's talk about a few weather alerts that we deal with occasionally. One would be a cold weather advisory. Well, what is that? Well, it's issued when there's a threat for wind chills anywhere from about 12 to 25 degrees and temperatures anywhere from about 25 to 35 degrees. So we just talked about the wind chill. I explained that. So when you have wind chills ranging from the low teens to middle 20s, you likely would go under a cold weather advisory. That's just an advisory warning you that it's going to be cold, and if you stay out there long enough, it could be dangerous for you. All right, now we're going to talk about extreme cold alerts such as the extreme cold watch and the extreme cold warning. Extreme cold watch is issued when you've got wind chills maybe as low as the single digits or low teens. So that is dangerously cold. So the extreme cold watch is issued when that is possible. Extreme cold warning issued when the wind chills near 10 degrees are going to be imminent or likely. So that is when you need to plan on that dangerous cold and of course that potential for frostbite in a short period of time. So these are all dangerous conditions. You need to do what you can to stay safe if you find yourself having to get outside in this type of weather. So here's some things that you can do if we're talking about freezing temps or dangerous wind chills in and around the Houston area. Make sure to have extra blankets and layers ready in case the power goes out. Always good to be prepared. If you don't need to use it, then that's great. But if you need it, you need to already have it prepared and ready to go. Also a great time to check on elderly, family, and neighbors to see if they need help. And also when you have a winter storm or really cold, dangerously cold air heading your way, it's always a great idea to do what you can before the cold weather hits, like filling up your car with gas before you have to get out there and freeze while doing it. So make sure to do that. Also a great idea to make sure to have an emergency kit in place just in case you get stuck out there in the cold on the road or in case your power goes out at your house. Make sure you have what you need. Also be careful with generators because there are usually a lot of accidents with those. So you take those safety precautions seriously, and you want to protect your pipes, sensitive plants, cover them, bring them in if you can. Make sure your pets are warm and dry and safe. And of course, don't forget yourself, your loved ones, your kids, your spouse, because everyone needs to stay safe and stay protected when we're talking about dangerous cold and dangerous wind chill values.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
All right, I want to update everybody on the warming centers. I just noticed there was an update on X, formerly Twitter,
right,
from the Houston Office of Emergency Management that the warming centers are going to be open earlier than what we had mentioned just a few minutes ago, which I think is a great idea because initially they weren't going to open until 8 p.m.
Yeah, it's already dark and everything.
It's cold and dark, right? So now 6 p.m. So if you need to take advantage of the warming centers or you know somebody that needs to be in those warming centers, 6 p.m. is when they open and they run until Friday at 8 a.m. So
good.
Nice long stretch, so I think that's a good plan.
Because, yeah, when you have wind like this, boy, I mean, it is hazardous. I mean, even at this point, look, the winds are still gusting above 30 miles an hour. The wind chill out there here as we get toward lunchtime is about 20 to 22, still in the teens in a lot of spots out there. The actual temperatures, like we said, top of the show, they haven't moved at all, with Brenham at 23, Navasota 24, Cypress is 29 right now, above freezing down in Brazoria, and it's actually sub-freezing in parts of Fort Bend County too. But this is just wild. It just stays cold, and we're probably not going to warm up a ton today. So yeah, bundle up, and hopefully we'll get a little break in the clouds this afternoon, but not a whole lot. That'll do it.
Yeah, make sure you join me. I'm here at Fox 26 News at noon.